Viewpoint V is about to have a major update coming out on June 15th. This thing is absolutely phenomenal. If you guys have not had a chance to play with Viewpoint V, you really got to go check it out. It is by Wrestling Party, and I'll link you down below where you can find this mod. There's a lot to get into today, so be sure to stick with today's video. This is Mike with Blue Line Vibes. Welcome back, guys. Let's go check it out. As you think about it, in GTA 5, you fire a gun, and it goes in the middle of the screen, no matter what. He's completely overwritten the gunplay mechanics in the game. The bullets are now fired exactly the way the muzzle of the gun is facing. This makes it a lot more immersive and more accurate as well. Another cool feature he's thinking about adding in, he's always taking requests, for this mod. Possible breathing may be an issue with gunplay mechanics, meaning he might be able to add something like a hold breath type of thing. I'm not sure why it would really come into use, with pistols and stuff like that, but snipers, oh yeah. Now, another cool mechanic that he added into Viewpoint V is the fact you can fire the weapon at any time. So if you are standing in front of somebody and you're trying to reload and you're pressing fire, the default way would be to completely reload first and then fire. This script here, you got to be careful because you can actually shoot somebody, maybe an innocent person, who knows, that's standing in front of you while you're trying to reload. Always practice gun safety. Another cool feature of Viewpoint V coming out with this new update is aiming down the sights. Some people like that, and people want to use scopes as well. With this new update, you can now do that. Another cool feature added in here is called weapon center offset. So some people like it straight down the middle. Some people wanted it to the left, some people to the right. It's just a matter of preference, right? You can now accomplish this with Viewpoint V. Another feature brought into Viewpoint V with this update is weapon movement modifier. Some people thought it was maybe too slow, maybe too aggressive, but now you have a slider, you can adjust all that. Same thing with head bobbing. Maybe you're at a full sprint, maybe you're running, maybe you're just jogging, maybe you're just walking. You can now configure the head bobbing as well to be more aggressive or a little bit more subtle. He's also modified the sprint mechanics within the game, kind of on the back end. It helps with the acceleration, deceleration of the sprint function. It's more inspired by Squad. Now, we are playing a virtual game here, but Wrestling's trying to make it as immersive as possible. So if you're in the middle of a gunfight, you now have the ability to kind of manipulate the screen shake ability that's on the screen, or aggressive or tame. Now, this one right here I thought was a really brilliant idea, because a lot of times you're changing these values and you're not sure what is going to be good for you. How about a live config? So make sure you're not standing in front of somebody. Is this a live version as to what the weapon's going to do? Is it going to shake more? Is it going to bob up and down, move left to right? You now have a config right there live that you can see it in action. I fixed the camera behavior of the ragdoll effect. So if you get bumped, for example, by AI traffic, it did this kind of weird janky movement, but now it seems pretty steady. You also fixed the camera behavior when you're falling, and also the camera behavior when you're getting up. Now this looks really smooth when you're in first person. Another thing that looks really smooth is when you're ducking behind cover. There's not a lot of clipping anymore. There's some, but not a lot. You can also switch to ADS for more accuracy. Move the gun from the left to the right or in the middle. You can do it on the fly as well by holding down the Z key and then kind of scrolling a little bit. Now, speaking of ADS, if you're in first person mode, for example, using Viewpoint V script, you can hold down the Z key and then kind of use your scroll wheel, if you will, and you can move the weapon more to the left, to the right, or mid center. You can be more aggressive or maybe a little bit more tame on this one. Now, this is really cool, I think, that's been added into the new script, is the ability to look around. Maybe if you're walking, you just want to turn your head to the left, not move to the left. You're going to move your head to the right, move it to the right. Now, this really helps with driving, because in GTA 5, it's kind of hard to look around a little bit when you're trying to drive. Now you have a free look capability just by tapping Z once, then move it to the left or to the right. Now, you also fix a snappy behavior, is what he calls it, when you're using, like, say, a joystick type of thing. I like to say controller. It basically helps keep it from snapping whenever you're recentering it. Looks really good. Now, he did add a reticule when aiming. I do believe what he means by that is inside the vehicle. Now, not many of us will be firing from the vehicle, but if you're playing story mode, it's going to come in handy. Trust me on that one. But as far as if you watch my channel, we do a lot of police mod stuff. So most of the time, we're not firing from the vehicle. But, sometimes there are those pesky criminals out there, right? Now, let's talk about the camera angles. These things right here, this is where Viewpoint V really shines. You have the default, close, mid, far. But you also have other body camera angles. Check this out. You have the head camera. You have the shoulder camera. You have the chest camera. You have the first person camera. And you have dash cam. Every one of these cameras are highly customizable, so if you're not really into the body cam stuff, you can simply just take it off. Is that reticule really bothering you? You can make it bigger, you can make it smaller, or you can just take it off. If you like that body cam effect, then you can include that text on the screen with the logo. And speaking of the logo, if you don't like Axon Signal, how about Motorola? These are also configurable. You can make the text bigger, you can make it smaller, you can move it around your screen. You make the logo bigger, smaller, and also move it around your screen. The camera effect from the body cam. You want it off, or do you want to turn it back on? Change your field of view. You want to bring the camera inwards, or do you want to kind of pull it back? Now, some of the cameras are highly customizable. Take, for example, the shoulder cam, one of my favorite ones. You can make it a lapel cam, where it goes on the shoulder, and then you can configure that as well. I'm going to fast forward this a little bit. You can move it inwards, and you can move it down. You can move it outwards depending on what you're wearing. And now it is a chest cam, for example. You can change the FOV on this as well. Oh man, the movement. I'm so dizzy. I can't play with this mod. Oh, it sucks. Well, turn it off, dumbass. Everything's highly customizable in this thing. Not being a wine bag. Another one of my camera angles is the third person camera. Check this one out. It looks so fluid. It looks almost cinematic, right? And you can aim down the street. I'd probably suggest that you keep the reticule on with this one because it's kind of hard to aim with this one. But once again, you can make the reticule, from big, make it small. That way it's a little bit less intrusive. You like that flashlight? That is my new flashlight mod. Be sure to check that out down below. I'll leave a link for you down in the description. Now, with all these camera angles, you can have the mouse look on or off. Most of the camera angles, I like it with it on. It makes it feel more natural. But the third person, I like to have it off. That way I can kind of look around my character as I'm running. That's for more cinematic kind of value to it, more immersion in my opinion. And also gives you the advantage as to see who's coming up behind you. How about this aim style? Are you happy with that? You like the third person aiming? If you're not happy with that, you can change the auto aim to a different camera angle. How about this one? All of these are customizable within the menu. Now you went a step further with the camera angles as well, and that is the actual sound of the weapon. So if you're using like a sound mod and maybe it's not quite exactly the way you want it, he added a third person audio setting. So maybe you want your audio to sound maybe a little bit more like this. Or if you have the proper, sound mod, for a weapon, for example, then you can just kind of go back to default, which mine sounds like this. If you like that pistol fire rate and also the sound of the weapon, be sure to check out the link down below in the description. That is one of my personal mods. How about that mini map? Once again, that is also configurable. Do you want it on or do you want it off for more immersion? How about that dash cam right there? Now you can fix that per vehicle, by the way, if you like. You can move the dash cam over to the left, down, change the FOV. You can take the body cam overlay off, put it back on. Once again, change up the logos, change up the text a little bit. You can have the camera effect on, or you can turn it off. You see that jerkiness whenever the vehicle takes off? Some people are not really fond of that. Maybe they want it for, maybe single player story mode gameplay. Maybe for that, maybe okay. Personally, I like to reduce that. Now, there's a lot of other cool cameras within the actual vehicle itself. There's a cool one right here called Chase Camera. Has a little bit more immersion to your gameplay. It actually makes driving a lot better. Now, here's another cool one right here. It's called Cinematic Chase Camera. Now, when you crash into something, that is another setting in here called Collision FX. It adds some blur to the screen, some echo, some distortion. It's supposed to mimic, maybe getting disoriented, after a car crash. Now, you can adjust that as well. If you want it to really affect you, you want the effects to last a long time, you only want them to last maybe a couple seconds, or do you want to disable all that? You can adjust that in the menu as well. Now here's another camera angle right here. This is basically events camera. So if you're getting into the vehicle in certain camera angles, you'd have an event that looks like this. Or maybe this one. Okay, you can turn these off or on, totally up to you, it's your gameplay. And there's other camera angles as well for maybe you're riding a motorcycle, flying a plane. He has added some really good touches to this new update. This thing is huge. I'm going to leave a link for you down below. This video is not a install process, so I'm not going to do that. This is going to be a showcase. So be sure to check out Rustling Party. He has done a fantastic job on this mod. It is really one of those top tier scripts, one of those must-have scripts. Go check out Rustling, guys. Until next time, I'll see you on the next patrol. Take care and stay safe.